loads of subs.
Gonna do something a bit different with it and put a Honda K24 in it.
It's actually supercharged. It's hot. Good morning, Nessie Noms. Get a foul. Good morning, audience. This morning you join us on this beautiful day here in England Shire. Me and the beautiful Nessie Noms. We're off to see the beautiful people at Hack Engineering. If you guys remember from the last episode, we fitted a decat, they remapped the car, we fitted a set of spark plugs, a set of K&M filters. They also fitted a crank hub capture plate, which is obviously essential on one of these when you start adding a few extra ponies. Today we're going to be fitting a set of Ivac Springs just to give the car a slightly nicer aesthetical appearance. These do sit slightly high at the front. The Ivac Springs roughly lower the car by about 20 mil, so it's only a little drop. And they're matched pretty nicely to the OEM dampers as well. Eventually I will go down the coilover route. I'll probably look at maybe some KWs or some Olands or something. But for now, the Ivacs will definitely make a nice little upgrade. We're also going to be fitting a set of spacers just to bring the OEM wheels out a little bit. And we're also going to be fitting a set of camber plates as well, just so we can add a little bit of negative camber. As you guys can see, Miss Nessie Dom sporting the beautiful Monky London Classic grey hoodie. I'm going to show you my tit as well. That's fine. I'm wearing the beautiful Monky London Classic black hoodie. Anyhow, we shall see you guys down at Hack Engineering in a bit. Where are we, Nessie?
Hack Engineering. We arrived.
How'd you know that? Because it says it on the door.
And how was my driving?
How was your driving?
Yeah, I ask you.
Exceptional. I'll give you a firm 11 out of 10.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's not bad.
As you guys can see, we have an array of BMWs around us. Let's go and check them out. Loads of subs. Apparently Ben's naked. Oh damn it. Morning sir, I haven't met you before.
No, damn.
How's for you? How's for you? Before we start as well, that E36 used to be up there, which I must say looks much tidier now.
That definitely wasn't a good health and safety day getting that down from there. Gonna do something a bit different with it and put a Honda K24 in it.
Crazy.
It's basically done.
Oh yeah, look, custom engine mounts, everything ready to go.
Yeah, a completely stock, well obviously unopened 180,000 mile K24. So we'll see how much boost it can take.
Yeah.
Something like 500 horsepower would be nice.
And what gearbox?
E46 M3 6-speed.
Okay.
We've just started distributing K-Power parts, and they do an adapter for a BMW gearbox.
Happy days.
So it was initially for an MX-5 randomly, but they've made a whole kit, so all the engine mounts and everything are off the shelf. So.
Crazy, man. Originally this car actually used to have an S54, which is an E46 M3
Yeah, so it's
motor.
actually the gearbox that used to be in it, which will be going back in. And it's got all M3 suspension, KW coilovers, AP brakes, so you name it.
We've also got a lovely E46 M3, which is owned by a chap called Jamie, I believe.
Yeah, Jamie Cave. Yeah, such as having head gasket, balance rebuild, a few upgrades.
Yeah, it's a tidy looking car, man. Lots of carbon fibre bits, roll cage, bucket seats. Looks very track car inspired. A nice set of polycarbonate windows. Quite cool with the kind of louvers in them. Gives it quite a sort of retro look, doesn't it? It's pretty cool. And I've also noticed he's got a lovely set of AP racing brakes down there as well. Pretty sick with the old graphite grey calipers. E46 M3 on the ramp.
Another one, yeah. Head gasket, big end bearings, valance rebuild.
Quite a lot of work.
Change of shifter, engine mounts, like you name it. It's kind of having the works really, and then it's being shipped straight to Singapore because he only lives out there.
Oh, crazy.
So he's got loads of BMWs, and that's one that he picked up a few years ago.
Is that it's right-hand drive? Are they right-hand drive in Singapore or left-hand drive?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
No.
I think they're left-hand drive, but
it used to be part of Britain, didn't it, Singapore?
yeah, a long time ago.
Let us know in the audience, is Singapore right-hand drive predominantly or left-hand drive?
No one here knows.
Yeah, we'd like to know. We've got the F80 sitting pretty. Like we said, The back does sit sort of quite flush, but the front, they are quite high in the front, these, aren't they?
Yeah, quite low. Ground clearance wise, they're quite low, but the wheel's a bit lost in the arch, so you don't need much to drop it to kind of really change it.
Make it look, it look a bit cooler, yeah.
Yeah, it should be good.
Then we've got an E92 here, which is pretty sick, man. You were just showing me it's actually supercharged.
Yeah, so it's got a. I mean, no one really pushes these that far generally, but it's got a fully forged sleeve block. We built the engine, and then G-Power supercharger, so it should be 720 horsepower-ish.
It's pretty comprehensive build.
Yeah, it's got meth injection and you name it.
Man, let's have a little look under the engine bay. Chap's got a set of Apex wheels, which are pretty similar to the ones I'm going to be running on my Zimmer. Quick little look. Quite a tidy looking engine bay, to be fair.
Yeah, it's getting there. Pretty much done under here. Meth injection is all hidden under the plenum. Everything's kind of hidden and as neat as we can make it, but there's a hell of a lot going on in there. So,
yeah, it's crazy.
But yeah, it looks good.
And what ECU? Is it stock?
Standard ECU.
Standard ECU, man. Is this Le Mans blue?
It's Santorini blue.
Got so many fucking BMW blues.
Got so many blues everywhere, yeah.
I know mine's a Yas Marina.
Yeah.
And the chap down, he's got another blue BMW, which is a 135.
Yeah, M135i. So that's just running one of our downpipes and a map. And other than that, it's standard. It's just a daily driver, and it's mint. I love it. Yeah.
They're nice cars, man.
Yeah,
they really are.
It sounds good. It's
quite sensible money these days as well.
Yeah.
5 Series we saw before.
I think it was running last time you saw it. I can't really remember. So yeah, there's no engine in
it.
It
Definitely has changed. It's Son's engine.
Yeah, this car was restored completely. We took the engine out and found that basically all this front cross member was completely rotted out. So it's turned into a load more work than we expected, but it's getting there. Just waiting on some bits for the engine, then we can go back built and put back in.
Cool, man. And then F80, this looks really nice.
Yeah, so that's having downpipes and crank hub capture plates, so
cool,
kind of
man.
some of the bits
Similar
that you had on yours.
to mine, yeah. Quite rare as well. It's got a sunroof.
Yeah.
Because this was actually optional extra. They all came with a carbon fibre roof, I believe, and you could actually get them. I'd actually like a sunroof. I think they're cool.
Yeah, so you lose the carbon,
a bit heavier as well.
Nice, yeah.
Nice looking set of wheels, titanium tips exhaust, little cheeky diffuser and spoiler on the back. Yeah, it's nice. It's quite cool in silver. It really sort of shows the lines of the car. As you guys can see, F80 is now on the ramp. Alex and Ben have just taken off all of the wheels. Down here we have all of the parts, kindly supplied by Hack Engineering, soon to be available on the website.
Yeah, it's got Ivac Pro Kit springs, so they don't massively lower, it's about 25mm.
Yeah.
But it makes such a big difference on these. They sit really, really perfectly.
Yeah, and most importantly, works nicely with the OEM damper rates.
Yeah, it keeps all your EDC and everything like that. Spacers, wheel bolts, and then the really trick bits are these Millway top mounts. Camber adjustable. They also add a little bit of caster. So for John driving, they'll be perfect.
A little bit more turning, lovely.
Yeah, exactly. You can really dial it in. They're not really that adjustable at the front as standard, so that kind of gives you the adjustment to, once it's lowered, either correct it to how it should be,
or just add a little bit.
Or just add, with what you're doing with the car.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Let's do it. First step on taking it is obviously removing the struts.
Yeah, so unplug EDC, then remove the strut, drop it down. A lot of people change the spring in situ on these, but you can't really guarantee the spring's going to sit right. Yeah, we drop the strut right out, strip the strut, changing the top mount anyway. So. And
always, as a little disclaimer, be very careful when changing springs.
Yeah, not really a home job. And even if you're using spring compressors, make sure they're good ones, because I've had some let go and it's not nice.
Yeah, responsible Monky London videos for the win. That's exactly why I'm here, Ben. Not doing my fucking self. As you guys can see, the lower arm has now been disconnected and the rear spring is now on the bench. That's obviously the old one, filthy, and that's the crispy new one. That's a comparison of the stock coil on the left versus the new Ivac Pro one on the right. The guys are just locating the lower spring. There we go. Spring is back in place, as you guys can see. Now the lads are just gonna do the lower arm back up. And Ben's gonna repeat the exact procedure on this side as well. Lads have now finished installing all the springs at the back. That's the left hand side, and the right hand side is now sorted as well. Now the rears are done, we're going to be moving on to the front.
Yeah, so this, we just drop the strut right out. You can kind of do them, if it's just springs you can kind of do them in situ, but it's not massively safe, as we kind of mentioned before.
Yeah. So
we just drop the whole lot out, swap all the top bits over, plug it all back in.
On the way back you've got to be slow and steady because the geometry will be a little bit out. The car might be a little bit all over the place.
Okay.
No Johnetta action, you know what you're like.
I behave. I try.
Front lower arms are now all undone. Gents just going to lower the car back down and start tackling the struts from the top. One strut brace out the way. Cool, happy days. One front strut removed. What are you doing, Alex?
Obviously, as Ben said, a lot of people do it on the car. It's pretty sketchy. If you're working at home, no doubt if you've done a max and strut, you've tried to do a pair of spring compressors, the whole thing slipped off and almost killed you. So yeah, slightly safer to use a sort of dedicated spring compressor.
Pretty simple how these works. Obviously, you guys can see there, they can actually compress the strut, and that will allow enough free play for Alex to remove the spring safely. OEM spring removed.
Yeah.
Ivac on the right and the OEM on the left. You've got the Millway camera adjustable top mount.
Yep, so this just fits with all the standard spring bearing. So yeah, it literally is a direct swap for the original.
Very professional, hack engineering, much cleaning going on. Something tells me Alex has slight OCD. Which is nice to see. You actually want someone working in a car that's got OCD. Front strut is all been cleaned up, springs in place. Now they're just putting the dust boot and then the new camber adjustable top mount on top. Front strut has now all been assembled.
And then we got some Millway supply top mounts with all new bolts, all labelled. Kind of a shame they get hidden by rubber trims, to be honest, but
Top mount is now in place, and just explain to the audience how they can actually adjust the camber.
so you've got, that's basically a standard position, so it actually shows on here how many millimetres of camber you're adding at the top. So at the moment we're leaving it as standard. All you'd have to do to add a load of camber is undo these and literally just slide that over, and it'll allow you to move that all the way to over here.
So now we're really just trying to emulate a similar setup to the OEM.
Yeah, and then you know, when it has geometry and whatever, then it can all be set up properly. But at the moment we obviously want it to drive all right when it leaves here, let the spring settle and then get everything set up properly.
Keep it at zero.
Yeah.
Cool. And by Magic, one we prepared earlier. Exactly like before, the boys have just built up the other front damper, now ready to chuck it back in.
A few moments later.
Top mount's now all in place. Alex is just going around with a torque wrench, making sure they're all torqued up to recommended settings.
Millway helicoil and use a thread locker on the threads on there, so they'll last, you know, forever. You can undo them and do them back up loads and loads of times, and they're not going to come loose. And can't strip them. So
proper bits of kit.
Yeah, done properly.
As you guys can see, all of the mounts are now back in place. Ben and Alex are just going to refit all the parts that they removed. Work is temporarily on hold because pizza. So that is you guys pretty much done under here. All the under trays now back on.
Yeah, pretty much done. And then we've just got a few bits to finish off on the top. Bung some wheel spacers on it.
Cool.
Away you go.
If you guys look down here, we've now got the Ivac spacers in place. We're running 15mm on the front. If we pop around here, you'll see the ones on the back. They're slightly smaller at 12mm. You can also see here with the Ivac kit, you get longer supply bolts as well. That's the shorter OEM on the left and the new longer one on the right, just to incorporate the slightly wider spacers. That's one rear wheel on. As you guys can see, it already starts to look a little bit meatier, but we'll have a propaganda once the car's back on the floor and the suspension's fully compressed. We are pretty much good to go. Alex is just doing the last wheel up now, and Ben's put all the pieces back together in the engine compartment. Pretty crazy as well, these kind of carbon fibre reinforcement bars, or strut bars, whatever you want to call them. These are £4,000 from BMW. So if you crash your car and you've got to replace one of these, £4,000 is what it's going to cost you. I'll give you guys a quick little look from the back so you can see the difference. Definitely looks a lot meatier now. Looks so much better, doesn't it? Because the front wheels on these, they do sort of stick in quite a bit. Once you get the spacers on there, it really does bring the wheel out and makes it look a lot more aggressive. Like I said, bear in mind the springs will take a little bit of time to settle. How many miles do you sort of normally say, Ben, for springs to settle in?
About 50 or so.
Yeah.
It's more about the air time, really. You really want to hit a couple of humpbacks today too.
And from your experience, how do they drive on the Ivacs compared to, say, the stock springs?
Better than standard. They ride better and they are that bit stiffer. So.
Just helps the ride.
Yeah, they actually sort of dampen out the road much better.
Nessie Noms, out of 10?
11.
Very good. That's actually illogical, but we'll go with your answer. It makes the car look so much meatier.
More sporty.
Yeah, and the bot looks meatier as well. Bot. And then we've obviously got the carbon fibre bits to go on their necks.
Yeah,
some
then
CT
it's
carbon.
very sick.
Cheeky little spoiler to go on. Little side skirts. Cool.
Like.
Well, happy wife, happy life.
Get fast.
Now, this is your Aladdin's cave. Run us through this, because last time I was here, it wasn't quite as complete as it was now. It's had a bit of fabrication, I can see.
Yeah, I've been doing a few bits on it. So it's a 1986 Renault 4 van, as you do. But the chassis was all rot, so got a bit carried away. Decided to put the engine in the back, then realised the original 1.4 petrol was going to be a bit weak.
Bit gutless.
Bought a Volkswagen Passat PD 130 lump.
PD, cool.
Ripped the engine and loom out of that and sort of mounted that in the back end. Got a transaxle in there as well.
Absolutely mental.
Yeah.
That's a quick little look at the chassis. Obviously, like Alex said, the engine is mounted in the back. And you were saying the subframe and all the arms is all actually from a Mazda MX-5.
Yeah, so I just narrowed the subframes by like 200mm. Because obviously it's a lot narrower than the Renault van.
Crazy.
Which means I should be able to get some pretty trick bits for it when it's all finished.
Yeah. And here's the shell. Oh, this is like an old Renault van.
Yeah, old Renault Renault Spanish delivered baguettes or something like that. Still got these Spanish stickers on the windows. I think I only bought it like 5 years ago.
What year is this?
86.
Oh, this is an 86, okay.
So they all look the same from like 1960 something.
I remember they almost like sort of bread vans, weren't they?
Yeah, they made them for bloody years.
Left-hand drive?
It was left-hand drive, yeah. So dash is all still in there. There's not a steering wheel or anything, but
oh yeah, I see.
so yeah, it's a left hooker. Yeah, it's got a taller roof on it, which apparently is different for the Spanish model.
Oh, so it's quite a rare one.
Yeah.
What did you give for the Renault in the first place?
Oh, like 1,600 quid.
Okay. It's a bit
It was quite cool. It was lowered. Had like banded steels on it.
Yeah, you've got to promise us once you've got this ready that we can come out and do a little cheeky review with you.
Oh yeah, drive it. Fresh the tits off it.
Absolutely, man. That's it. Right, let's pull the old beast out. See what she looks like. Look at that. Looks so much better. What a difference some spacers and a set of springs really makes. Very good job. I think you deserve a big get-a-fouse, man. That looks really, really good. And to be fair to the boys, I hadn't actually planned on modifying this car, but after coming here once and meeting Ben and Alex and the other Ben, it didn't take long before the bug caught on. If you look down the side here, sits nice and flush, looks really good. On this side as well. Already it looks 10 times better.
Yeah, it's good.
We would do some donuts, but we actually need to save these tyres and put them on the front, so once we get some new rear tyres, donuts coming up. You look sick in that. Come here often?
Yeah. When you are here, I come often.
As you guys can see, Hack Engineering once again, absolute magic performed. Happy days. You two, absolute legends. Firm handshake.
Nice.
Thank you very much.
Crisp as well.
It was
Crisp
quite,
handshake.
yeah. I grabbed a bit early.
We don't know about that,
Good
Alex.
handshake.
As always, thank you very much for your time today. You have made my car look absolutely fantastic. I'll chuck Hack Engineering's details down here if you guys want to give them a follow.
Yeah, and we've just joined fairly recently YouTube as well. So
Also put Hack Engineering's YouTube down here as
Yeah,
well, so if you guys
thank
give me a
you.
little subscribe, be
Yeah.
really appreciated.
If we get up to 10,000 subscribers, we can do more bits to your cars.
That is a very good point. So everyone, please subscribe down here. And you
Okay,
also
do
said I've got to get you up to 15,000 followers on Instagram.
we're nearly there. 14.
You're at
now.
14, so
Yeah.
I want 1,000 of you guys in there to follow these lovely people.
So,
Yeah, it helps.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Cool. Right,
Awesome.
bid you farewell. Until next time.
See ya.
I'm like a bad smell that won't go away. Peace, guys.
Ciao.
Right, Nessie Noms, happy days. We can't go too mad, obviously, because the car does need to have the geometry done and the suspension needs to settle. But yeah, massive thanks to Hack, absolute legends, as always.
It was a nice day.
It was a nice day. I'm giving Nessie as much seat time as she can get. Get you used to all these powers, because soon you'll have a 450 horsepower S14.
Wow.
Which is going to be pretty fruity. Like I mentioned to you guys before, we've got Apex wheels inbound in about 2 to 3 weeks. So we've got some more modifications coming up on the Zim Zimmer. Once we've done that, we'll probably look to take the car on a track day with open track, straight down there. So yeah, hopefully next year we can definitely do a bit more driving. This year's been a bit of a write-off, obviously, with all the sort of circumstances and all the madness going on. We haven't been able to do a huge amount of driving. But yeah, fear not, John will be returning pretty soon. And Johnetta, of course. Very famous Johnetta. As always, hopefully you guys enjoyed this cheeky little video with myself and beautiful Miss Nessie Noms. Make sure to give us a like, put any comments down below. We'll always do our best to get back to you, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Peace.